Good morning, YouTube. I'm gonna do a video over the Sinister oil bypass, the Ames oil. You can tell that this one is the EA BP90. It's the shorter one. I had this one installed for a while to see how everything was going. So yeah, this is gonna be a review on the oil bypass from Sinister Diesel. A few things to note. That is really hot. That is really hot, and these lines are hot. And this line just goes into the top of your existing oil filter. Let's see if we can get a better picture of that. It's right here. Just take, there's a existing bolt right there. Take that out. Put some plumber's tape on there. Tighten it down. Comes with the instructions. I don't know, probably 10 inch-pounds or whatever it is. This aluminum block, I learned my lesson because of that bolt back there. Yeah, that's going to be a future video. Another interesting note is I don't like how the inside line goes to the top of the cap. It looks good, and I like all these different colors I got going on here. It just kind of makes everything, you know, stand out on its own instead of just all one color. And like, wow, what do you got all done to this? And you can just see, wow, that's blue, that's red, there's lime green over there, the alternator. That's a MechMan alternator. I'll get to another video on that. One thing I don't like is how the cap goes into the top of the valve cover. I wish they would have some type of system to where you can take this line and take it down to your oil pan and like put a bong onto the side of your oil pan instead of on top. It's because now I can't check my blow by and I need to redo my rings and stuff and do a valve job. So take that, put it on the bottom, but keep the cap though. So I mean, I can take the cap off and check blow by and stuff. If you're wondering what I'm using, this is the EA BP100. I guess you can read that. And so this one is longer. 98% efficient absolute at 2 microns. So this one will go in there perfectly. We're going to switch that out today. The oil I'm using, I normally use Rotella T6, but just to change the oil filter out, give it a test run, see how everything runs. You know, like the oil pressure I haven't had a problem with. Like I said, my truck is eating a little oil because of the rings. You know, blow by, it's got 200,000 miles on it. This is the oil I'm using, and I'm gonna put it, this oil filter, in right now. Question: do y'all pre-oil y'all's filters? And on a diesel truck, what is the tightness that you put an oil filter on your engine, not the oil bypass filter, but the engine? I was told it's a diesel truck, it vibrates a lot. Put it on there as tight as you can get it. Obviously told that you put it on, go a half a turn. What is y'all's answer to this? Another note is I don't fill it all the way up to the top. I keep filling it up and watching it drop. I give it about a minute to drop, because there is a stem normally that goes inside of here. If you fill it all the way up to the top, you're gonna get all this overfill come out when you're trying to put it onto the oil filter assembly on your motor or engine. Technical terms, political. We don't like to be political on this channel, but this is YouTube, and this is the time of I'm offended. So right now, while I'm waiting on that to drop down again, I'm just getting a little bit of this oil on top and coating that top ring real good. Again, this is a diesel truck, so it has a pretty high temperature. Oil goes through a lot of heat cycles. Could do this to a gasoline motor too. I don't have to be as thorough as I am, but I'm making sure I get that nice and coated. Even on the edges here, kind of put my finger around the edge, trying to make sure I get every little inch. And also, you're probably wondering why I keep pausing this video and unpausing it. I'm not trying to make it that long. It's supposed to be a short video. So I just poured some more in, and I'm looking for those air bubbles. There's a little bit of air bubbles. If you take your time prepping your oil filter, your engine will thank you. It will run smoother, run a little bit cooler. That's just my personal, that's just IMO in my opinion. You can see it's falling back down again. This is a massive oil filter, so you want to take your time and prep it. You want it ready. Just checking the inside in there, and looks good. Slowly dropping a little bit. Compared this oil filter to, you're probably wondering too, why I have it in a plastic bag inside of the box. You will use these gallon freezer bags like crazy on vehicles. If you know the trick about air filters, you put the air filter inside this bag and you spray that oil on them, or cleaning or solvent or something on there. And so doing the same thing with this one. Don't want to get oil everywhere, so I'm prepping it inside the bag, inside the box. And as soon as I get this one prepped, I'll take the other one out. I'll take this one out and put that one right in its place, and then I can go to auto parts store and dispose of it properly. Yeah, be back again. Just poured in some more, and the bubbles are getting really small now. All that will clean up once the motor heats up and stuff. I'll get rid of those. A little bit of air pocket. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. I'm just watching the side there, watching the bubbles. On a smaller oil filter, you won't probably have to do this as long or as much. A car or ATV, motorcycle, any type of small engine machine. I mean, you can put big oil filters on there, and that's a good question, is why put a bigger oil filter? Especially this is the oil bypass, and I think it's as big, if not bigger, than the original oil filter. It adds a little bit more to the overall of your oil capacity. I believe it helps with lubricity, keep the engine cooler. You know, you're not necessarily with an oil bypass filter, you're not necessarily adding this to the engine, because you can add too much oil to an engine. I think we need Mythbusters to see, you know, well, if I add just 100 gallons of oil to my motor, you know, how's it going to run? Everybody will know that it ain't going to run worth a shit, because they can't circulate all that oil, I believe. I don't know. I don't have definitive proof on this. Here, I'll pour it in again. I'll stop pausing the video during this. There's the bubbles. Just let it soak it all up. But this doesn't add to your overall capacity of your oil in the engine, because it's outside of the motor, and this only adds, I would say, half gallon. What is this? Yeah, this is a gallon. I've used this before, so it was about a half. So it probably not even a half gallon. It's probably only 2 quarts or something. But those 2 quarts make a huge difference. We can go into more detail, like changing out thermostat, putting dual fans on versus an electric fan versus a mechanical fan. Any little bit will help your engine. And this is why I'm doing it. I'm building my truck for the ultimate tow rig. It's not really that well off-road because it is 9,000 pounds. I.e. it will sink in sand and mud. But it is a very capable truck, especially my truck. It's with a G56 transmission, 4-wheel drive, manual 4-wheel drive. Planning on adding lockers in the future. If y'all want to help me with that, that'd be awesome. So I'm going for efficiency. I'm building the truck to take in more air, run cooler, bigger intercooler for the turbocharger, bigger boost tubes. Probably going to add like a 30% over fuel injectors, probably 60, 90 horsepower, not going too big, 64, 67 millimeter turbo. If you look at all the parts that's underneath the hood of my vehicle, you will see that it is built to run cooler, smoother, less friction. Fuel is a coolant inside of your combustion chamber. Cool fuel hits the fuel injectors, cools down the fuel injectors, and then gets sprayed in the motor, and then causes it to heat up again. So I got a fast fuel sump to help out with a little bit more power, help keep the fuel clean, constant, steady pressure. I think I'm running 20 kpsi, idle-ish, maybe a little, well, not idle, maybe a little bit higher than that. I think idle's like 7, 8. I don't know. I'll have to look at it again. So I'm doing all these little things to make the truck last 20 years because it feels like it's going to take that long to build this thing the way that I want to build it. And do I want to put $100,000 into it? No. Am I going to have to? Probably, because it's a diesel. And this world just doesn't give you free handouts, so it's just taking me a lot longer. I don't want this to be depressing or not. I'm not trying to be like that. It's just, this is a budget build. Well, it's my budget build, and it's not really a budget build because of how expensive it is. I'm just trying to emphasize the fact that if you're going to own a Dodge and make it efficient and make it work for you, you're going to spend some money. That's for sure. And ignore the grill in the bed of my truck. I'm moving this to my mom's house. So, yeah. Alright, I'll be back. Oh, look at there. It's already halfway down. Well, let me pour this again. Getting there. There we go. Alright, I'll be back when we're in front of the truck again. Alright, here's the before. BP90. You can see how far down it goes. There's nothing obstructing this space right here. Y'all in there a little bit. Kind of see. I hope y'all can. It's not very bright out here. We got some misty rain stuff going on. Here's the before. Here is the during, and you can see there is a little tiny. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's right there. See if I can turn this line on. There you go. There we go. A little tiny one. So I can fill this up a lot more. You can see it went down some more too. So let me go grab the oil. I'll put it on there, and I'll do an after. Here is the top of the Sinister Diesel oil bypass. You can see it has in, it has out, it has another in. So it's coming in from the oil filter assembly on the engine, and it's going out on this one. So it has two ends. So you could probably set up another two of these. You put one in from your engine, one out to another oil bypass filter, and then take this one, take it out and bong it into your oil pan at the bottom. I'll be right back. One note, putting this on, so you want to hold it from the bottom with your right or left hand and spin it Put your other hand on the back. So you spin it around like that while holding it on the bottom like this. Makes it easy. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's to install the Ames oil BP 100. As you can see, well, maybe not, because there we go. I still got plenty of room to put my hand underneath there. It's not heating anything at all. Still got some give to it. I'll tighten it down as much as I possibly could. I do plan on putting like a probably like a 10mm stroker pump in here, because I'm gonna be adding the fuel injectors and a little bit bigger turbo. And like I said, everything's built for efficiency. There's a giant lime green alternator. I'm gonna do this Banks ram air. I really like it a lot, but the granddaddy of diesel, we need to talk. So I'm gonna do that video next. And then probably in the future, whenever I do, I'm gonna do a single turbo. I'm not building this thing for a race truck. Ain't no need for it. Get something else faster, lighter, easier to get in and out of. So probably in the future, I'll probably add another one of these. Or if Sinister Diesel wants to help me out, make some type of bracket so I can attach two of these together. That'd be crazy. Probably asking why I went with an oil bypass filter, or why you want to go with one. It adds, like I said, maybe half a gallon of fuel, oil, or oil. Politically correct, oil, but here in the state of Texas we say oil. It adds a little bit of capacity, help lubricate, help keep cool, to help really clean your oil. You can go a little bit longer. Instead of 7,000 miles full synthetic, I'd use T6 Rotella. 7,000 miles, you know, if I'm really heavy hauling, probably 5,000 miles. I probably would do the same thing. Go 5 to 7,000. Well, I'll probably go 7,000 miles heavy hauling now. And change it out. I want to keep the viscosity, the lubricity. I want to keep all that as good as possible. Other than that, took the here block out. It only adds about 5 more psi, not even really enough to really tell. It's hot in the state of Texas, like all the time. Right now we're in that part of the time where you put your heater on in the morning and your air conditioning on in the evening. I say a lot because I can't keep up with what I'm trying to say, but so I took that off. It's an XDP block. Banks. Oh, this is the intercooler. Banks. Boost tubes. Banks. We need to talk about that. Mr. Banks, Mr. Gale Banks, I don't know what you want me to call you, but we need to talk. As you can tell, this says Banks, but that red one down there doesn't. Why is that? Why does this one say Banks, but one of these is aftermarket? Mr. Banks, we need to talk. Call me. Other than that, that was the Sinister Diesel oil bypass review. Oil filter change. I mean, I really didn't videotape me changing the oil filter. I kind of went over the steps, but if you don't know how to change an oil filter, you probably need to go back to school and figure out what a screwdriver is first. That's how simple oil filter change is. But I hope this information helps you, and I'll be coming out with another video review on this truck shortly. I've been kind of busy, so it's been taking me a little bit to get these videos done, and I don't edit them either. But yeah, I'll try to figure out the comments, because the comments on the last one, it said the comments thing wasn't working, and I've been trying to figure that out. And yeah, technology for you. But if I do fix the comments, leave me a comment, ask me what y'all would like to see next or whatever. And later.